What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and fellow hobbyists? Welcome to this week's episode of P&Q. This is the question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me, and then I respond to you the following week. Now you can do this one of four ways. Put comments or questions in the comments section down below, if you're watching this on the, YouTube in the minimized section. Or you can email me direct at miniwarzone@gmail.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. You can make a video asking a question or bringing a topic, or you can meet in person and talk, and I'll put that on here then. That said, I found a couple of questions but from the same person on one of my other videos. I thought I want to answer it here. I don't have any emails or personal questions or any video responses or anything like that this time, so it's just the questions from last week and of course the comment on my other video. So I'm going to start with that. It was left on one of my miniatures showcasing kind of thing video where I just sort of showcase my progress on different miniatures, and it's by JS Idaho. God, that's hot. Should let that cool down a bit first. He says, neat looking models. Thanks for sharing, Pete. Are you using them for Wild West Exodus or as proxies for something else? Now we're talking. He's talking about my gun dogs from Wild West Exodus. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up to that showcasey type video. It's on my interesting miniatures playlist, I believe. And it says, browsing through the website, there is such scope for conversion with all those interesting models. That's cool. That's good. Also, which of those was your favourite whiskey? I had them mounted on two miniature whiskey bottles, Wolfburn and Angel's Nectar. Wolfburn was my favourite, and I don't think I've told you, or if I have, I'll tell you again. They were miniature bottles in an advent calendar I brought back from my wife's work, where she works, and it was a gift. Basically, so every day was a miniature bottle of whiskey. It's really cool. But I preferred the Wolfburn. Mind you, the Angel's Nectar was quite nice. They all were. They're all at least 12 years old, and they're like really nice. Really nice. Love them. As for, am I using them for Wild West Exodus? No, I'm not using the dogs for Wild West Exodus. I don't know anything about that game. So they'll be proxied for something else at some point. They're probably going to be something orky. They look kind of orky, but I like them on their own, just as models on their own. Something will come up. I wasn't going to use their original bases, but then I changed my mind and I went for, yeah, do you know what? I will use their original bases. They're still not finished yet, but I'm definitely going to be using their original bases. But conversion is something I want to get better at. I think we all do, don't we? Deep down, converting. One thing about the Games Workshop hobby is it's easy to convert. I think it's easier to convert than other things. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my own personal opinion. But it's something I want to work on, conversion. Right, so I was JS Idaho on another video. So the comments left from last week was, we started with Battles in a Blue Shed, who says, great P&Q. Question, as you are into retro gaming, have you looked at the RetroPie? It's basically an emulator for all the old system and arcade games. No, I haven't. But it sounds cool. My friend is always telling me, you should get on this, you should get on that, you should check this out, and all the old like the old computer magazines, as I forget the name of the place he sent me to, but it's basically got all the old computer magazines from back in the day, back in the 80s, when it was a thing for us, and it was, we were buzzing as kids about all these computers and games. So no, sadly I haven't been on there. It's all a question of time for me, so it depends on the time factor. I've got so much to do and read and various other things. I mean, although I've finished editing the 5th draft of my wife's book, But there's still other stuff to do. It's with beta readers now. There's other stuff I've got to work on with regards to the cover and the artwork and all that kind of thing. And then getting ready for a bit of a advertising campaign. So yeah. Question, what is your favourite retro game and gaming system? Well, that's a toughie. I don't think I can answer that. I can give you some games off the top of my head. See, back in the day, my first computer ever was a Sinclair ZX81, which was black and white, no sound, basic graphics. But I enjoyed the games on it. I really enjoyed it. I had the 16K RAM pack expansion, so I was able to play 16K games on it. And a lot of the games, particularly the adventure games, were on, obviously they were on cassette, but they were spread out over like 5 or 6 tapes because it was such a scope of game. The Black Crystal was one. I think it was a rip-off of the Dark Crystal, the Dark Crystal. But it was called the Black Crystal. And it was a bit of arcade, a bit of type-in, and it was a bit of everything really, but it was a great adventure game. On that system, 3D Grand Prix was another one on that system, where you had to race a car around a track, pull in for pit stops, refuel, that kind of good stuff. Your tyres wore out. It was really good. Flight Simulator was another. That was a favourite of my father's, actually. He was always playing that game. There's a game called Gulp, which was kind of like Pac-Man. Same sort of thing, eating the dots. Yeah, that's the ZX81. Oh, 3D Monster Maze, that was another one. I actually wrote an article about that in Tribe magazine. 3D Monster Maze, so that was good. But then the Spectrum 48K and 16K machines came out, and then there was a bit of rivalry with Commodore. The VIC-20 was already out, but the Commodore 64... Now, I was introduced to the Spectrum and Commodore 64 and the VIC-20 all at the same time, and the reason for that is because when I was at school we had a computer week and we were allowed to bring in our systems and play games and supposed to learn programming, but none of us was interested in that. We just wanted to play the games. But that said, we got to look at everybody else's computers and their setups and what games they had. I remember being particularly impressed with the VIC-20 because, colour graphics and sound, well, all the other computers really. But the sound came through the TV on there, and that was good. They had good cartridge games. Frogger and Pac-Man I was particularly impressed with on the VIC-20. And the Commodore 64, the games on that, I liked Way of the Exploding Fist, Boulder Dash. There's 2 games I remember. On the Spectrum, I like the Lords of Midnight. There was loads of games. Jet Set Willy. See, I'm rattling loads off here now. I don't have one. And from then on, I picked up a Toshiba MSX later, and that had amazing graphics and sound. It was really arcade style, and there was a game called Nemesis on that, which was just phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. The old Kempston Competition Pro joysticks, and they're great. Okay, I think I've gone on enough about that. Black Country Wargaming is next. He says, congrats on 200. That's 200 episodes, by the way, of this series. So we're on 201 now. That's some achievement. Here's a different type of question. Which question do you think you've been asked repeatedly the most? Looking back and thinking back on memory... There's 2 which come to mind. One is, how did I get started in the hobby? And I'm sure I've bored you to death with that story. But if it wasn't for the fact I had MS, I wouldn't be in this hobby. So that's the short story. The other one is, if I was to make a game, I think I got it in this episode as well. If I was to make a game, what would it be about? That kind of thing. So yeah, it's out of those 2 the questions that I've been asked the most. William Kuby, Well there, seen your wife's book at Costco and BJ Big Food Store here. Darn, like seen the minis. Yes, I did a diorama. I've done a couple of dioramas on it actually, and I'm looking forward to doing a diorama on the next one. That's going to be a big project though. Question, how many armies do you have? Me for 40k, 7. Official ones, squats, not so much, and 8 for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Wow, you post them, I see them. I don't know, let me see. How many armies have I got? I have got Dark Angels, Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Orcs, Tyranids, Necrons, Tau now. I think that's it. So 7. Yeah, 7 armies. I think that's all of them. Oh, Astra Militarum, so 8 armies. Astra Militarum, can't forget them. Right. Jim White says, congratulations on your 200th Q&A. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my question. You are very welcome, Jim White. It's JS Idaho again. Who says, congratulations, Pete, on 200 and Cobra Kai. Yes, because I got the whole series now and I've got it on DVD. So here's a question. What type of game would you create or design? And this is one of the ones I've been asked a lot. And what would the game title be? I don't know what the game title would be. I've always fancied doing a game, having a game based on motorcycle gangs. Like motorcycle gang warfare or something like that. When I was a kid, I started making a board game based on motorbike gangs around a board. It's essentially a race game, but yeah, now I think it would be, I don't know, you could have different maps with different layouts, or a road that you could fit down like differently, kind of almost like a Lego road you could put over the top of like a wasteland or something. And yeah, different bikes, different types of bike. I don't know how it would work. I have no clue on that. I'm no expert on that. But yeah, it'd be something to do with motorbike gangs, motorbikes. I don't know what the title would be though. What could the good title be? I don't know. Metal Steeds. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not much good at thinking up the titles, but there you go. Thanks for your question, though. And last but not least, we have Idikbeer 40k, who says, awesome show, Pete. Have you ever played Wings of Glory? Any interest in it at all? Yes, I've played Wings of Glory. I played it with my friend Ralph. I've played it. It's all right. Doesn't blow me away. I'm okay playing it. I wouldn't want to get into it myself. It's not really my thing, but it was all right to play. I've played worse. I believe it was, or I may be wrong. I thought it was a similar premise to X-Wing, but I may be wrong there. But yeah, Wings of Glory. Yeah, it was all right. My friend Ralph, he's got quite a few of the planes, loads of them. And we played a few games of that. Like I say, it was all right, but not something I'd want to rush into getting. Not really my cup of tea, but it was all right. That's all I can say about it, really. No, I'm more of a like science fiction, fantasy type guy when it comes to games. Which is why I mean, Bolt Action was all right. It was okay. But I don't know, it's just real life, based on real life. I don't know, I just find it a little bit meh at the moment. There'll probably come a time where I'll get back into it and I'll be like, yeah, I'm more into historical stuff now. And I can fully understand why people are into historical games. I mean, there's some really good ones out there. I mean, I love Black Powder as a rule set. It's really, really good. And I suspect I'd love Hail Caesar because I like Romans. But it's so far in the past, it's so far removed from real life day to day. It's almost like a fantasy fiction type setting. So yeah, but I don't know, World War II and upwards is a little bit too close to modern day stuff for me. I just don't doesn't float my boat. But yeah, how did I get onto that? I don't know. But yes, Wings of Glory was alright, but it's not really my scene. Anyway, that's all my questions. So thanks ever so much for watching this episode of P&Q. Don't forget to hit that bell button if you haven't done so already. Make sure you get the notifications so that I can get some views, because I need the views. Yes. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. If you want to check out my Patreon, please, you can do so. Always helps me out. And yeah, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Remember, until then, all brushes lead to war. Bye for now. Bye.